you may also find that there are other convenient methods of establishment. And of course, in the second method is where you establish in the final field. And once you establish these crops in the final field, what you do, you select a field where you feel, of course, you select a field where you know in that area fertility is good. You select that area as a place that you are going to establish. Your seedlings, and this same piece of land, it is going also to serve as a final field for the spinach, because you are going to remove some of the seedlings and then you are going to leave some of the seedlings to grow in that particular field. So it is like just like what we call direct seeding, and also acting as a seedling raising or a nursery for that matter. And therefore, you have your land, you prepare your land very well, the area where you're going to establish. You can add, you can broadcast the very well decomposed manure. And also, once you do the very well decomposed manure, and then you do the leveling using a rake or using a fork jembe. And once you do that, the next thing now will be the planting or the spacing. And here we are looking at a spacing of, this is a land, this is a big land, could be maybe even 50 meters. Here could be even 50 meters or so, depending on the size of your land. And here we are looking at the spacing. And the spacing here, we are looking at this being 15 centimeters and this 15 centimeters. So we are looking at 15 centimeters square, where you are going to establish around 10 seedlings. You drop 10 seeds there, 10 seeds, 10 seeds. So in each hole, you are going to put 10 seeds, not very crowded or not, the seeds should not lie on top of each other. You place the seeds very well so that each seed is on its own, but within that hole. Once that is done, then the next thing will be watering. You do watering very well so that the seeds are going to establish themselves. We are going to look at finally what will happen. So once they germinate, then in a month's time or maybe in 1.5 months time, that's around 4 to 6 weeks, then you are going to remove, out of the 10 you are placed in each hole, you are going to remove 9. You leave only 1 seedling there that is going to germinate into the final field. And that's and what usually happens here, we are looking at once you remove in this the first one you remove 9, the second one you remove all of it, so that the distance here from here to here now becomes 30 centimeters. You do the same here. You leave here 1, you remove everything here, so that the distance here between here to here, instead of 15 centimeters, now becomes 30 centimeters. The same to be done here, so the same to be done there, so that whatever remains is a field, whatever remains now should be a field of 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. And that now will be now the final establishment, where each one seedling of the spinach crop will be left there to be the final field. But now back to the basics. Once you establish the seed, what should be done, because once they start germinating, you may find a lot of pests there, and therefore in terms of pest control, just before they germinate, you are supposed to drench an insecticide we call lambda cyhalothrin. Drenching is basically spraying with a knapsack sprayer or with a convenient pump, a good pump. You spray such all the land is covered with that chemical, and once that is done, then it will be able to kill all the insects that may be trying to attack the germinating spinach crop. And that should be maybe around 3 days, because they are going to germinate in around 5 days time. And therefore, once you establish, you can do that in the third day after establishment. You are able to do that, and that will be able to prevent the diseases that may be attacking the crop. And then still on that note, still you could be having some diseases that may be attacking the spinach crop. And those diseases, we usually advise you can use an AI carbendazim, and carbendazim will be able to, once you mix with the lambda cyhalothrin, carbendazim is going to eliminate all the diseases. It's going to control all the diseases that may be in the soil that may attack the spinach crop later. And mainly those diseases we are talking about, diseases like fusarium, and even dumping off, and even some diseases such as root rot. The spinach journey starts here. As you can be able to see, already the spinach are planted. And to establish the spinach, you can do it in 2 ways. There is one way where you do direct seeding, where some farmers, like what has been done here, or you can be able to establish a nursery bed. And once you establish a nursery bed, then you go ahead and plant them. But basically, we are going to start with what usually happens here. The first thing is to prepare the land. You do land preparation, you do the raking, you do the smoothing to ensure the soil is fine-tilled. Because what usually happens is once you plant, once you do the planting on the individual holes, then from here you are going to leave, once the spinach are grown, you are going to leave some here, and then you transfer others to another land. But basically, once you do the preparation, you are going to you are going to dig the holes, and then you are going to do the planting of the spinach seeds. And once you do the spinach seeds, here what usually happens in terms of nutrition, first of all, depending on the soil analysis that you did, you can be able to do the fertilizer on the holes where you're going to plant. You're going to do the fertilizer, and then once you do the fertilizer, which is the phosphatic fertilizer, you are going to establish your seeds. Once the seeds, before the seeds germinate, it is very important to control diseases and also to control pests. And one of the pests that we control here is the cutworm. We also have the chava grubs, and also we have the termites. So it is very important so that once they germinate, they are small, they are not attacked by those pests. In terms of the diseases, we have a disease we call dumping off. We have another disease we call downy mildew. And also we have another disease called pythium. And also blight may also come in. And to control this, we have a chemical with a fungicide with active ingredient carbendazim, or you can alternate with a cymoxanil. And then once you have those products, what is done, you mix a fungicide in a 1 knapsack sprayer. You mix a fungicide, you mix an insecticide, and also you mix a foliar fertilizer, the one that I've said that is rich in P. So once you have those, you do a routine spray after 1 week. And once you do that routine spray after 1 week, then you're able to protect these crops very well. And then now from once this is done, then from the nursery, after 1 month of staying here in this bed, then the seedlings will be big enough to be transferred from this nursery to the final place where they'll be grown into mature spinach. Most of the spinach that are planted here, they'll be transferred from here to another farm that has been prepared. And hence, this place which acts as a seed bed for production of the seedling, The spacing is a bit the spacing here is 15 centimeters square or 6 inches square, and just the thumb and the index finger, when you measure, you can be able to see that is around 15 centimeters. That's around 15 centimeters. That's around 15 centimeters. Around 15 centimeters. So since here what is done is production, seedling production, therefore the spacing here is 15 centimeter, 15 centimeter by 15 centimeters. But of course, once the final part, when the seedlings are mature after 1 month, then that time thinning will be done, and therefore you're going to find the extra seedlings will be removed to leave a space of 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters, so that the one seedling that will be remain here will be able to grow into mature crop, and this now will transit from being a seed bed into a final farm for the spinach that will remain.